All right, we are live, Sam.
That's good.
Boy, you've been keeping busy.
Yeah, very busy.
All right. Well, listen. Let's get people informed on what's happening in Liberia. You know,
Okay.
we're here. Most of my partners are in Canada, but of course, we do have friends in the United States as well. And you know, we're all going through quarantine like the rest of the world. But I don't think people have an idea of what it's like for you and people in Liberia. So, how's the
Yeah.
quarantine affecting you guys, Sam?
Quarantine is seriously affecting the entire fabric of our society,
Yeah.
especially knowing that we have a society where people live, we say from hand to mouth. A
Hmm.
lot of people don't save. Yeah, they don't.
They
They're
don't
now on
save.
fixed
Yeah.
salary. Yeah, so you trade, and what you get, you eat for the day. So it's every day at a time. So
Right.
to be able to quarantine such a society is just so difficult and unbearable, and a lot of family are really going through it, very going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, Pastor Joe, that this quarantine actually did for me is it's good
Hmm.
from my service to God, because sometimes we really get busy with the activities of the church and
True.
rather forget what is happening right within communities. So within this
Right.
quarantine time, yeah, within this quarantine time, where I'm not too busy with church activity, being able to go around, there are just things I saw, man, Pastor Joe's family are ready going through it just to get a meal. I'm
Yeah.
talking about just
One
one meal a
meal.
day.
That's
For
it.
some family, it's not that easy. It is not, man. It's not.
Okay. Now listen, man. I want to step in here because I mean I understand you because I've come to appreciate the Liberian accent, but not everybody is Pastor Cole, so they don't get a chance to hang around
Okay.
Liberians. So I
All
want them
right.
to know, you know, this is funny, Sam, because when I'm in Liberia, you translate for me when I'm on stage,
Yeah.
and now I'm going to do it for you. So to those who are watching, if you didn't get everything, what Pastor Sam is saying is that one thing this quarantine has done for him personally is because they're not so caught up and busy, you know, in the activity of the church, he's actually able to invest more in his community and see what's going on, and even to see what some families go through just to get one meal, not to stockpile for a month or for a week, but just for one meal. He says it's really, really been affecting him. And Sam, you've been sharing some of the videos and pictures with me because we've been able to send money to buy bags of rice and sacks of water, and you've been going around to different communities. And I mean, I got to tell you, man, I've been in tears a lot this week as I've seen how people are struggling just to get by.
Yeah. 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 It's really been amazing, and sometimes some things that we take for granted,
Mm,
like the 25 kilograms of rice, the bag of rice, because
yeah,
that's our staple food over here.
yeah,
And sometimes, because what I would usually do is that I would just drive by community, not telling anybody why I'm there, and just look out. So
okay,
when I spotted these places, sometimes I just drive by. Like last week, the
mm,
video I sent you about disabled people, and
yeah, yeah,
just to give them a bag of rice and a sack of water. And some are shocked in disbelief. They can't believe it because sometimes they just don't happen. The
mm,
person has to know you, or sometimes,
yeah,
it's not just common. It's not just common. So it's rather being a blessing for us,
mm,
in partnership with Hope for Liberia and all its partners, and representing Hope for Liberia in Liberia to be the one through whom God
yeah,
has been using us. And, without publicity, we know others are doing it, but they got journalists with them on the news, on the radio, on
oh,
TV.
okay,
No,
okay,
we don't want to do any of that. I always tell people, let the community speak.
mm,
And it's yesterday I got a testimony. Some young
okay,
ladies from the church, some young ladies from the church just came to speak to me and my wife, and they said, Pastor, you won't believe it, what you're doing.
mm,
Everybody is talking about it. They say they haven't
wow,
seen this in a long while. And, to
wow,
see just people And, just within the community, you are not doing it for publicity.
No.
And, so it's really been touching, Pastor Joe, when you see the
Oh,
faces
Sam.
of these people, when you see the joy.
Yeah.
Somebody just like the other person, I just stopped by the guy, the young man who is disabled. And I
Okay.
just stopped by his house and I opened the trunk and I'm taking the rice out. He's like, what is happening? And then he asked the other lady, do you know him? And the lady said, no, I don't know him. Who is he coming to? And I said, no, you
Right.
don't have to know me or you don't have to know somebody. We just want to
Oh,
be a blessing to you through Hope of Liberia, as you represent Hope of
wow.
Liberia here.
Wow.
But Pastor Joe, those giving, man, it might look little for you all and all the
Yeah.
partners, but it means so much to people
Oh,
out here.
Sam.
Because
Yeah.
that's all people want. People just want to survive with the society we have. People's expectations are so low because not much opportunity. So all they want is just
Yeah.
something to eat today and see how the day goes and look forward to the next day. So for Hope for Liberia to be in the position at this time, it broke on me. It made me more humble and just to think more about others
Yeah.
than myself each day. Yeah, each day. So just know that even though I live in Liberia, but I'm
Right.
privileged.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm privileged.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's quite a thing to say.
yeah,
And I've been so blessed being back here at home. And all we do, Sam, is I get reports from you and you tell me, Joe, these are the pressing needs. This is what's happening in this community. This is what's going on.
mm-hmm.
And, you need to understand that, like, we're not a registered charity here in Canada. And that usually prevents people from giving. But that has not stopped them. All I do is put out the need and people are giving and responding. All that money you're picking up the bank, I know you know this, but I want people to know
Yeah,
it's not from Joe Hammerall. It's from his friends and his partners across Canada and the
yeah,
U.S. and the world who are saying we want to send hope to and for Liberia. And so we've been able to do some really incredible things. First of all, this week, Sam, marks the 1 year
you want WhatsApp?
anniversary.
You want internet?
Who's there?
That's my son interrupting me. If you want internet, cut it off. My data is running.
Oh, okay.
He's using my Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, my son. He gets here.
Okay.
That's the quarantine. Nothing to do. So
Hop on Wi-Fi and it slows you down, right?
yeah. So I'm already out of data because he and his little brother Emery are on it, man.
Okay, no
Yeah,
problem.
but it's good.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez,
let's go.
what were
Yeah,
we saying? Oh, yeah. So if you can believe, 1 week ago, a year ago this week, I
yeah,
came home
yeah,
from Liberia from my first trip.
yeah.
Just a year. And
Yes, yeah,
look at what God has been able to do in 1 year because you reached out to me.
yeah. So
I
much
said
in one
yes.
year. I can't believe in 1 year. So much.
Amazing.
So much. Yeah. So I was just thinking, like you said the other day, I can't imagine what will be done in 10 years. Yeah,
Sam,
we've been able to reach villages, reach a lot
I
of people, and
know.
just yeah,
I
yeah.
can't
So
believe it. Well, I just want to share a few things with the people that we've been able to do. Never mind just over this year, but even in the past couple of weeks since the quarantine started, I think now we're over 400 bags of 25
yeah,
kilogram bags of
yeah,
rice,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And over 1,000 sacks of water
Or water, yeah,
to give out. One of the things for people who are watching, that a couple of weeks ago we put out an appeal to help a lady named Rita, who was a widow, whose
yeah,
roof was destroyed, and
yeah,
the areas where the kids were sleeping was damaged by water, and it was such a heart-wrenching thing to see. And the roof turned up being about $1,200 to repair.
yeah.
And how much would a widow like Rita earn in a year, Sam?
Hey, in a year, especially with her, all the
Yeah.
squeezing and turning, if she could earn, it's somewhere between 200 to 250
Okay,
US dollars.
hang on.
That's
I need to translate that. You're telling me that Rita, or somebody in her position, a widow like her, would earn between $200 and $250 in a year US.
a year, yeah.
And her roof was did cost $1,200 to fix.
$1,200. So just
How would
calculate.
she fix that?
She know would have fixed it. She just gave up.
Oh,
That's why she was so shocked because, and it was so a big house because when they built the house at the time, the husband was working, but now he's dead.
right.
So it took like 10 bundle of zinc, the roofing sheet that we use. and each of those cost like $100. The expensive one that we rather use
The
cost
good
like
one.
$100. So she just looked at it and said, "Let me. I can just manage." It's like sometimes we say blind faith or something. You just say, "I'm just trusting God. Whatever He does,
Wow.
that's it." That's why you saw the place was so messed up, the water and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that. So when it's raining, nothing they can do. They just left it to faith. Like we say, faith. Maybe somebody
Wow.
would just see us. Maybe somebody would just like that. So
Unbelievable.
it,
Well,
it was unbelievable for her.
I
Yeah.
want to speak to those who are watching, and I hope you're really hearing what he's saying. That there was no way that that roof would have been repaired, or a roof like that. But because you guys responded to the need and you were moved by compassion for this dear woman, now she has a brand new roof. It's a stormproof roof. And now the rainy season is starting. So the timing of the
Yeah.
repair couldn't have been better, right, Sam?
It was awesome. It was great. The timing was so good. The timing, yeah, was perfect.
See, and you just happened to go, you were going to give her a bag of rice to say hi, and she didn't
Yeah.
complain. She didn't say anything. And it wasn't
No.
until you got there and saw it. My Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. She was just sitting. I gave her the rice and the water. It's like she's excited, but then she was more worried. So when I looked, I just looked.
Yeah.
So there was no promise. There was nothing. I just went through the house, did a couple of videos, and just left. So
Yeah.
to see us arrive with the materials, and she was like, "What's going on? What's happening?" And then she began to cry. Yeah,
Oh,
she began to
man.
cry. She's been out of words. Every day she will call me to say thank you. I said, let's tell God thank you. It's God. You don't have to.
It's
Yeah, but
God.
she said,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, it's like I never imagined this happening. At this time, we should be thinking about food. And you did
Yeah.
this, my roof. Yeah, so that's why I hope for Liberia, all your partners have been doing. That's just
What,
one of the things we've
what an
been doing in
honor.
Liberia.
What an
Yeah.
honor. And I know, and again, for those of you watching, go back into my Facebook feed and you'll see videos we posted of the initial appeal for the roof and then the repairs on the roof. And she even did a thank you on camera. And I don't know if I
Yeah.
told you this, Sam, but yesterday she friended me on Facebook and she started saying thank you to me on Facebook, Rita. So
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
amazing,
awesome, man.
amazing.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
then one of the other things that we were able to do a while ago, when I was there in January, we were able to commission that well in Careysburg.
Careysburg, yeah.
So tell me about that. Like, are people still able to use that? What's happening?
The well has been a real relief for the community.
Really?
In that is the water is good, it's safe. So the entire community, especially during this time, they where
Oh,
they fetch water from. In fact, every week I go there twice to get water. I think I told you before that I was on my way there. Yeah, we go there, we carry the
yeah.
container because it's so ironic. Why we providing free water for people in Careysburg? We buy water each time. So sometimes I had to tell my wife, no, we just drive by and put a container in the car, but the water has been really a blessing for the people. It's a really blessing. They keep cherishing it. They keep saying thank you
So every
because
day
that's one
people
of
are
the things.
using it, Sam? Every day?
Every day, every
Every
morning, and
day.
every
Wow.
day. That was one of the reasons we have to have the security there every morning, every evening, every morning, every evening. In fact, if we didn't have a security, it would have been spoiled by now because like you got to control, you got to
Yeah.
allow your rest. Yeah, but it's good. People are there. People come from distances as long as it's free.
Right.
Because there's sometimes people who have it, but anyways, for their personal use, and they don't allow the public. But for
Right.
us, it's for the public use, so it's a real blessing.
Oh my God. Like you think it cost about $8,000 Canadian to get that
Yeah,
pump installed, the well dug, and you
yeah.
think, wow, $8,000, that's a lot of money. And then you hear about, is it safe? Can I say hundreds of people are using it to
Hundreds,
get water?
yeah,
Maybe
hundreds of
thousands?
people. It's between. Yeah, if you rather look at it on for a week, you have about 1,000 persons using it a week. 1,000 persons a week at least for a
Wow.
week. Yeah, for a week about a
So
thousand
so
persons.
we've had that there for 4 months. That's 16,000 people have been able to access free, clean, safe drinking water. That's amazing. Amazing. Well, I think we may have lost our dear brother. There he is. There he is. Can you hear me there, Sam? I think the connection is going a little bit. Okay, well, you know what? Until it kicks in full, I'll just kind of keep sharing a little bit about what we've been able to do. So we talked about giving food in the communities, huge bags of rice that for the average person, they wouldn't be able to afford to buy one bag every month. And so we've been able to do that because you guys, our friends and our partners, have been just supplying the money to keep sending it over there to buy the bags of rice and the sacks of water. We were able to help this widow who has 10 family members in that house. And you heard she makes maximum $250 in a year. And the roof repair was over $1,000. And then a dear brother from the church donated his crew to go and remove the old roof and nail down the new one with nice, good sized nails. So that's going to stay in place and not going to get blown off the next time there's a storm coming through. And again, until Pastor Sam is able to come back on, one of the things that I've been introduced to recently, just 2 days ago, he heard about an orphanage that was in a it was in really bad shape. And so he went with another friend of ours who has been trying to give some support. And this is what blows me away about the ministries in Liberia. They themselves have almost nothing, but they'll take the little bit they have and they'll share it with another ministry. So this pastor, who has a very small congregation and a very small budget, heard about what was going on in this orphanage and decided to go there and visit and saw the need. And so Sam decided to bring some bags of rice there. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to show you guys some pictures here of the kids. So let me go to the top. And this was just 2 days ago. So this is Pastor Solomon here, and this is just a small representative of the kids. There's 100 there in total. And we were able to give them, you can see, a couple of bags of rice, and these are sacks of water, fresh, clean water. And it's 2:30 here. At about just before 2 o'clock, Pastor Solomon went to the orphanage because I wanted us to be able to see inside, because I heard that the sleeping conditions for the children were horrible, that the washroom conditions were really bad, and that it was just not in a good state. And so Pastor Solomon got in on a motorcycle, I think, a taxi, and booked it over there and took some pictures and sent them to me. And they just came in as we were talking. So I've been talking and putting them on file here. And so this was taken a half hour ago. So 2 to 3 kids will sleep on each of these mattresses here. So you can see the condition, but that's not a great place to sleep. And there's 100 kids at this orphanage. So you can imagine all these kids trying to sleep in this kind of a place. And this is the front porch, and this is their water supply right now. They just go and get it from wherever they can. And it's usually not clean water, but they'll try to use it for bathing, maybe to wash some clothes. And the kids will bathe out here. So they get this bucket. And so whenever they get water, they're able to go outside and just give a bit of a general clean. And this is where they cook the rice. So this would be the kitchen that's outside. Of course, there's no electricity, there's no running water. So they have to have these makeshift sheds, and they just have a live fire going, and they boil some rice. And it's a staple for them. You know, somebody told me, you know, as a Liberian, they said, you give us rice, you give us life. we can make it work. They have like these green vegetables and roots and plants that they put in to get a little bit more nutrition. So it's been a blessing to be able to do that. And then he sent this to me again, just a half hour ago. This is the entranceway to the washroom. You can see there's a little bucket there. And this is the washroom, and this is very common, just very simple. You know, you can imagine that after 100 kids begin to use that, you know, what would happen. And I want to share something else with you. We were able to give them a bunch of bags of rice and water, and Sam was able to take some video for me. Now, by the way, with Pastor Sam being off now, this is what happens sometimes. This is ministry in Africa, West Africa, in Liberia during a quarantine. There's a real draw on the cell phone system. And sometimes you can't get a stable connection. So I'm thankful that we were able to have them even for the beginning. with this conversation. So let me show you something that some video that he sent me, and then I put it together, and I want to play this. I want to play this for you. It's only like a minute and change, and then I'll come back and talk after it. Okay. Okay, so I'm getting a little note that you're not able to hear the audio coming through. That's okay. I'll just kind of walk you through what we were doing. I was just doing a little bit of a setup and talking about how there's 100 kids that are at this orphanage, and that dear lady you saw, she's taken these kids in. She just said, well, I'll take them. So people who can't afford to keep their kids, or they died during Ebola crisis, or, you know, whatever other means, they end up with her, and she just takes them, and she doesn't know how the money is going to come in, but it comes in. And I believe that God has brought them to us so that we can be a blessing to them. And this is what I would love to see us do as a community of believers here in Canada, in the United States, and around the world. If you're watching, I don't know where you're logging in from today, but this is what we want to do. We'd love to be able to buy 50 mattresses for the kids, because they can sleep to a mattress, and so that should be able to have 100 kids sleeping. And Sam sent me a note telling me that the cheap beds, well, they're really cheap, but he said he'd sleep on them a couple times and they become flat and there's no support. So the good mattresses are $175 US. So if we could buy 50 mattresses so that these kids could have just a comfortable place to be able to sleep on, that would be amazing. So that's something that I want you to pray about and see if God speaks to you, and if you want to get involved in something like that. The other thing that was really on my heart to do is to be able to provide fresh water for the kids on a regular basis. So you heard Sam. So we have about 1,000 people a week, 4,000 a month. So we've been there 4 months. So already 16,000 people have benefited from that well that we dug, that you guys help us to dig, which is incredible. So here's what I'm proposing. What I would love to see happen is we'd like to buy a 500-gallon water tank, like one of these stationary tanks that we put on site near the orphanage there. And then we will be able to use other large containers and go to our well in Careysburg and fill those up, bring them back to the orphanage, and then fill them up and eventually have that full. So they always have access to free, fresh, clean, safe drinking water. So a large item like that costs $1,500 US. It's about $2,100 Canadian. So if that's something that you feel, Joe, I'd love to be a part of that. We'd love to be able to contribute. Guys, that would be absolutely amazing if we could provide the beds for these children and also water for them to drink. So I'm just gonna put up here on the screen in just 1 second some contact information, and you know, we're just going to ask that as God leads here. Let me just share the screen and put this on. This is how you can get a hold of us. You can go to the website hopeforliberia.com. In Canada, the best way to send the funds is via an eTransfer, give at hopeforliberia.com. We also have a GoFundMe page that you can go to. So you can just kind of screenshot this or hit pause on the video and you can have all the information there. And, you know, I'm so blown away, by the way. that we have already given water to 16,000 people every morning, every night. That blows my mind to think that we get to be a part of this. You know, Jesus said that when you give just 1 cup of cold water to the least of these, because it's like you're giving it to me, but oh God, we've just given 16,000 containers of water in his name. And I can't tell you what that does for me. It is absolutely mind blowing. So what I'm going to try to do on a bit of a more regular basis is just to stay in touch with you. So once a month, I'd like to do these live from Liberia is what we're going to call it. And we'll just spend a few minutes, and as we can, talk with Pastor Sam and bring you updates about what's going on in Liberia and then what we've been doing for Liberia. So let me just, let me go here and kind of show you some of the spots. Okay, so here is, okay, this is just Google Maps. And so Monrovia is where we fly into, and then Painesville is the greater area that we work in. And all this area here is where we minister. And then our well is here in Careysburg. So that means that we have to bring the water back here and take it to Johnsonville, and that's where that orphanage is. But we can do it just with a little bit of fuel, a little bit of gas. We can fill up that water tank and make sure the kids are able to bathe on a regular basis, get their clothes washed. They have food that they can cook, and then water they can drink. So let me just show you how. I want you to stay in touch with us as much as you can, okay? Again, you can screenshot or freeze this video anytime, and connect with us on Facebook, okay? You can see it there, facebook.com/Hope for Liberia. We also have an Instagram account, same thing, Hope for Liberia 2020. You can follow us, stay up to date on what we're doing. And as Sam sends me updates, I'm gonna send those to you through there. And here's the website that my amazing wife, Karen, was able to put together for us. It's beautiful. You can go there and you can learn more about us. You can see about how we have all these programs and all the different things that we're able to do, the people we've been helping. It's just incredible what God has allowed us to do in such a short time. And then finally, we also have this GoFundMe fundraising campaign, and it's Hope for Liberia 2020. So you can go on there and just find out what we're doing. And if you want to give, understand this, that other than a few bank fees that we pay on our end, and then the bank wiring fees on Liberia's end, all of the funds you send go directly to our work and to our ministry in Liberia. None of us are paid. None of us are getting any kind of a salary. We do other things to earn our income. This is just something that we're blessed and able to do. And if you want to partner with us, know that your money is actually getting to the mission field, and it's changing lives. It is keeping people alive during what's an already difficult place to survive. And now you add this quarantine, and you add food shortage, and you add money shortage on top of all of this. And whatever you give to us, we're able to send it there. We're literally helping people not just stay alive, but to stay healthy and happy and nutritious and safe during this COVID-19 quarantine. And so on behalf of Karen and myself, we just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who has been partnering with us, who's been giving, who's been following us. So please go on all the social media sites and follow us. So we'll keep sending updates and let you know what God is doing. So friends, that's the update. And God willing, from month to month, we'll be able to do this here. I'll be hosting them in Zoom, and then it'll also be going live to Facebook. If you can, share this video with somebody that you think would like to hear about what's happening in Liberia. Guys, I just want to thank you so much for everything you've done. Karen and I have been humbled and blown away by your response. We are so touched and so blessed that we get to do this. So thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon. God bless you. Bye-bye.